When it comes to the lie, Democrats are symphonic. They lie in ways that I've never, and they lie in ways too, but they lie in ways that I never even thought possible. They lie in colors. They lie in a mendacity pageantry that no one can possibly explain. And there's a reason for that, because most of what it's done, most of what they are purporting to do, at least this iteration of Democrats, not all, there have been some good ones in the past, but what they are doing, in essence, defies logic at levels I never thought even remotely possible. For them to tell you the truth, for them to explain the truth, for them to tell you what the result of the Durham report was to tell you that Trump was vindicated and that Trump was 100% correct. But they can't tell you that. They can't tell you that. So instead they lie. They lie in a weird shading. They lie by telling you that the gravamen of the result of the study was in effect that the problems were not that they targeted this innocent man for no particular reason, violating him of every conceivable right under the sun. What they did was, and this is important, what they did was they made it sound like, well, the FBI and the DOJ, they didn't really follow the usual protocols that are a part of this. And this is what enrages me to the point of, well, coming apart. I'm going to discuss this in great detail, but first, my dear friend, first I say to you, and I mean this with all due respect, but first, before I do this, a word from our sponsor. Well, there's no denying it. Gold is hot right now. Prices are soaring and experts are predicting even more to come. Not so long ago, gold reached its all-time high of $2,069 an ounce, and now it's inching even closer to that number again. Bank of America, one of the largest banks in the world, is saying gold will rise further still to over $2,200 an ounce later this year. So what, right? Well, gold is already a safety net for your hard-earned money. And now, when the stock market is all over the place and the value of the dollar is uncertain, being safe really counts like never before. Noble Gold is offering a 5-ounce America the Beautiful coin for any qualified IRA or old 401k rollover. Terms apply. A solid silver U.S. Mint issued coin celebrating our national parks free with every qualifying precious metals IRA or 401k rollover. You can't go wrong with Noble Gold Investments. So call 877-646-5347. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. noblegoldinvestments.com. And remember, there's always a risk of investment and there's no guarantee of any kind. All right. A lie is defined in law as the misrepresentation of fact with the intent, I should say, to deceive. The misrepresentation of fact with the intent to deceive. So it's not that it's a mere misrepresentation of fact, because that could be for reasons that have really nothing to do other than just negligence or just not getting the facts straight. That's one thing. It's the intent to deceive. And it's also a misrepresentation of fact. And misrepresenting the facts can also be not telling you the whole story, not telling you the beginning and the end. Now listen to me and listen good. This Durham report, first of all, taking forever is one thing. The dilatory nature of this goes to show you part of the mendacity. Next, he told you everything that you already knew, and they're still pretending today. They're still pretending today that it was some absolute shocker. This absolute amazing revelation of facts. No, it wasn't. It wasn't even remotely near that. It wasn't anywhere near. It wasn't near that. Okay? You got that? But what's also important to note is that the Democratic stronghold, this is namely CNN and others, what they did was they were more concerned, Anderson Cooper, that CIA Quisling. Not really a Quisling. He's more of a mole. But in any event, he was more interested and more upset with and more apologetic to his CNN listeners, all 12 of them, over the fact that they involved Trump during a town hall where they got the biggest ratings ever. I mean, you would think Zaslav and Licht, to whatever extent he's involved in anything, you think they would call Anderson and say, what the hell are you doing? We had people watch and then you chide them. You apologize for our programming. I arranged that programming, you idiot. I was the one who did it. What's the matter with you? This is part of the lying machine. Let's talk about this. Why do you think they want people in this country? Why does Joe Biden want people in this country? Why do the Democrats want these people here now? And by the way, I don't really hear a lot of Democrats demanding this. I just hear Joe Biden and I guess his immigration team lauding the benefits of this. Why? Well, believe it or not, and you've got to be careful, because when you use the theory that was opined by the late Tucker Carlson, who, by the way, has been sidelined to an extent, the likes of which, who knew? They didn't even his seat isn't even cold yet, and they moved Hannity in, and that's great. In any event, he came up with this notion called the replacement theory, and that was deemed and considered a racist theory because it basically purports to get this. It suggests that certain people want to replace either Americans or Republican voters or something, to replace them with others. That has been ridiculed, chided. It has been suggested by many as being the vilest, the most contemptuous and contemptible theory ever advanced. Okay, so why is there this inordinate desire to fill the ranks of our limited processing centers, to fill up our schools, to load up our cities and our limited resources with people that we cannot seem to keep track of, whose source of origin we're not sure of, whose health and immunization schedule we don't seem to care about, whose criminal record, I don't know if anybody's asking about this. Children who are brought here unaccompanied, what happens to them afterwards? How are they tracked? How are they processed? How are they followed up on? We can barely handle CPS and Child Protective Services for American citizens alone. How is all this happening? Is anybody thinking about this? No. You know why? Because there's a lie. Because you're being told everything's fine. Everything's being fine. And when you ask, well, what is the purpose? Why the hurry? Why this manic rush to seat so many people from around the world here? What is the purpose? Forget the replacement theory. Forget this. Whatever. If that's terrible, fine. Tell us. Why? No answer. Now, nobody can possibly blame no one. Anybody who wants to come to this great country and seek a better life, nobody can possibly blame these people. I'm going to make that very clear. And to see them sent back and forth, I don't want them, you don't want them, let's send them to Martha's Vineyard. Ha ha ha. That was despicable. But why are they here? Why are they here? How do we know where they go? Can we also find out, by the way, if they follow what their voting records are? Would it surprise you, or is there any way for us to find out if an inordinate amount of these fine folks happen to vote in huge blocks and swaths of Democratic voters? Is that possible? Many people have suggested, believe it or not, that these folks are from backgrounds that would be more consistent with and more amenable to a conservative, family-oriented, traditional type of political worldview. And not necessarily that of the prototypical Democrat. But for those to suggest that, one would have to lie as to why people are here. So I ask, why? Can you tell me one thing, going back to the Durham report, one thing that Mr. Durham found that was favorable, that was exemplary, that was laudable regarding the Biden administration? No. Do you know why you weren't told anything? Do you know why you weren't told the truth? Because they're lies. Everything is a lie. Everything. Everything. Ask why. Why has there been this incredible move to just proliferate the cities of this country with cannabis, pot shops? Easy for me to say. Why? Why? Could there be anything in it that involves the systematic rumination and destruction of the collective mental wherewithal of an entire generation or generations? No. No, that's not it. And that would be a lie. Please like this video. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that little bell so you'll be notified of new videos and live streams. And whatever you do, I beg, beseech, implore, and import you to comment. Comment as you see fit.